live, and we're actually doing an episode today.
Yay! Yeah, it's been a few weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah, mostly my fault. I've been in Flagstaff.
Well, and they canceled your race, and you were flying back, and
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
we ran. And then we ran part of the race here in San Diego.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Oh, dear, till 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
I
did.
joined.
Yeah.
I joined John at the middle of the race for a little bit.
Wow.
I'm still feeling the effects of that. My knee is still bruised up and cut up from
Oh yeah.
not pushing me, so that I fell down on the pavement. John was like, "This is your test to see if you're made out like." Um,
That's right. Are you a bulldog?
are you a
Yeah.
bulldog? Are you going to be able to do Goggins style shit? If not, well, get out of here. So he just put me on the pavement, and I just bruised myself all over up.
Yeah.
No,
That's
John
how.
didn't push me. I just tripped myself on a freaking bird on a scooter, and it's still hurting.
I'd think more of you if you hadn't cried like a little girl, but
We only did 16 miles that night till like 3
only
a.m.
16 miles.
till 3 a.m.
Yeah. It took a while because we were walking at that point. So
I did 16 miles. John did a whole bunch other. So
yeah, I did.
I
Ended
just
up.
did 16 with him.
I did one lap ahead of time, so I did 32 miles. But yeah, it was I don't know what it was. I think there was a combination of things that went wrong as far as my training, and I think the altitude definitely had an effect. Actually, the last couple of days I've been running, and my heart rate has been super low. Like I've been doing really well, so it must have had something to do with the altitude and all that. Maybe not enough sleep and a combination of different factors. But yeah,
The other thing is also the motivation that comes with running a race.
Yeah, but there was that element. If it were just that, I would have just continued on. But normally, so if I'm running, let's say that I'm running, I would have like maybe like 140 beats per minute heart rate while I'm running like a 10-minute mile or slightly below 10. And when I started running that on Saturday, I was running close to 12-minute miles, and I was hitting like 145, 150.
Oh,
So
wow.
something was off, right? That's how I knew it was like
You were just
other,
scared of running in the dark.
yeah. But yeah, at that point, that's why I called it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have called it. If it were just like a motivation issue or something like, then I would have just sucked it up. But at that point, I knew there was no way it was going to happen. There was something physically off. So, but I swore off running, and then 2 days later, I actually on Tuesday night I ran 5 miles super fast just to like run, and then ran another 2 miles home, and then the next morning I ran 8 miles, and then yesterday I ran 8 miles, and then I'm gonna run today. And so I called up my coach and I was like, all right, I'm not done yet. We're doing this again. And so
Chuck and I were doing the 100-miler together, right, Chuck?
That's right.
So I'm signed up for a race in Texas in 10 weeks. It's a 100-miler, and yeah, that one should not get canceled. They already have like COVID like protocols. They've already run races there, and I'm gonna have 10 weeks to train for it. So I'm coming off of this
We're in
training like I'm.
Texas.
It's like right outside of Houston. It's called it's this little town. I can't remember the name. I have to look it up, but there's like a state park there. Let me see what it's called. But yeah, so that's the plan. It's like, it's called Brazos Bend 100 is the race.
Brazos. Okay.
So, are you familiar with Brazos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I did that last week.
Oh, the Brazos Bend 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't do it. But
I ran it on my hands. I'm just that good.
Is that College Park? College Station, University of Texas A&M, actually.
It's not. I don't think it's. I mean, it's near Houston. It's not near Dallas.
It's near
Right.
Houston. I mean, it's somewhere kind of out of Houston. Station is Texas A&M.
Okay.
Uh,
It's in Needville, Texas.
hmm.
So
All right, cool.
I'm
Yeah.
Google
Enjoy
mapping it right now.
Enjoy
Not that I
the.
need to because I ran it last week.
It is going to be cold, but it's going to be fun.
yeah, it'll be cooler. So that'll actually be good. That's perfect. Like the colder it is, the better. And yeah, it's it'll be much better. And I'll have 10 weeks to train for it. So I'm already coming off of this with a pretty high level of fitness. And so I told my coach, I'm like, let's not fuck around here. Like just drive me into the fucking ground. Like just whatever it takes to get me ready for this race. If I have to run basically 100 miles a week, let's run 100 miles a week. And
Yeah.
so that's what he's going to do is have me run a bunch of 100-mile weeks and a bunch of, I'll probably be doing like a 30-mile run one day and then the very next day a 20 and then another 20, like to start preparing for this. So
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it looks like it's southwest of Houston.
yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck with that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. I
not
was so
gonna be
ready to
able
give up. I was
Are they
done.
gonna are they gonna run like midnight just like you, or
No, I think it'll be regular, like just during the day, the race, but it's going to be cool. So the only reason why I ran at night was because I was trying to avoid the hottest 4 hours a day. It looks like it has a 6 a.m. start time. So, and it's 6 loops of 16.7 miles. So,
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I totally get why they're canceling this. You know, people are going to get sick if the people are spread out over a 100-mile trail. You know, and they're outside. You know, all that free air. I mean, it's going to kill people. So
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and not that we've overblown any of this, but yeah. Anyway,
no? We've just killed 200,000 people. That's all.
yeah. Well, diseases do
Can
that.
we not go down this path?
Yeah. Let's not
Fair
go down
enough.
this
Fair
path.
enough.
Oh man, Chuck would not let it go.
No, I'll let it go.
All right, good.
All right. I don't have the energy today to fight this
No.
battle.
No, all good.
All
Uh,
right.
So Facebook ads. I finally talked to the agency where they tested a bunch of different like benefits and pains and whatnot, and so that's kind of their process. And so we've got some potential headlines that they're going to start running. So they've been pretty conservative with the approach right now, but we're going to start getting more aggressive with it. So should
How
start
much
seeing
have you
some
guys?
progress.
How much have you guys spent in ad spend?
I think only like probably less than $1,000.
Okay.
Yeah,
And how much in payments to them?
just one payment of like $1,200. They haven't charged me anything else because they said that we haven't really done much. So
What did they say?
what do you mean?
They're cool with it.
Yeah, they were the ones who like I didn't have to say anything about it. They were the ones that were like, yeah, we're not going to charge you until we actually get something going. So
That makes sense.
That's good.
yeah.
Um, that's what are you guys? I didn't hear from Tim, so I'm assuming there is no promotion next week. We
Let
did talk
me.
about some other stuff, but not we talked about some integration of some of the products into the back end of your existing systems,
Oh, okay. Like to do like upsells or whatnot into.
or just like in your emails, in your automated email sequences. At
Oh,
some
okay.
point, you just sell this. But unless I am mistaken, I'm not sure if that happened.
Tim who?
My
His
copywriter.
copywriter.
Yeah, I just messaged him and told him to.
Yeah, he might actually, like, we already talked this week, but we talked about something about just the existing coupon codes that he wanted to use for some of the work, which is cool.
Cool. Well, I'm going to start reaching out to affiliates and seeing if I can line up one-on-one interviews. So I need to talk. I was hoping to talk to each of you about doing something like that too.
Let's do it.
Okay.
should.
I kind of need to do it in the afternoon after work though. So
I would say we should just record a whole bunch of interviews for my stuff, like whichever specific topic that
I'm
you
good with
want.
that.
Maybe just all of them one at a time. Maybe every few weeks we just put it on our radar to do it.
Yep.
And over time you will have like 10 episodes just to pump through.
Yep.
for
Yeah.
whatever
Same
period
thing
you
with
want.
John's products and the career guide book,
Yeah.
because I can promote an Amazon affiliate link there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
And
think
then-
that's
Yeah,
gonna
and then
help.
I'm going to talk to Parker over at Interview Cake and some of these other folks.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'll
Surpri-
just put them in as bonus episodes on the podcasts, and we'll do them that way.
Surprisingly, I think the promotion, the JavaScript Jabber promotion hasn't done. Well, it's hard to judge like how much it's done as far as the career guide, but it hasn't really seemed to move the needle. I don't know if you have like stats on the clicks, but I wasn't expecting like for sure that it was going to. It was just something like more
What
of
was
a-
the
Yeah.
promotion
He sponsored JavaScript Jabber for a couple of months.
for the book?
Yeah.
For the remote work book?
No, for the complete software developer career
Yeah.
guide.
It's hard to know for sure. I mean, that's part of why I want to set up some of this other stuff
Mhm.
and get better measures on the on the click-throughs and stuff. I don't have good metrics on that.
How would you even like how I mean, I don't see how you can track that.
Just the clicks is enough, I think. I mean, because we
Clicks
can't.
from his webpage?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's gonna be so minuscule, man.
compared to like the podcasts.
What you should have done instead is giving them
Giving out a vanity link that you could track.
unique link from your side when you spoke
Yeah.
it out. So maybe it was bulldog, it was simpleprogrammer.com/book or something. And then that link was supposed to activate specific UTM parameters on your backend.
Well, the problem is it's on Amazon,
Yeah.
right? The sale, and then it's like even then it's like you don't like I don't know with the
No,
book.
but you
or
would at least
something.
know the number of clicks.
Yeah.
Potentially, like if you're giving away something else besides
That's
just the
true.
book, but most people are gonna be
just
like,
looking on Amazon.
yeah, because if you hear a book, are you gonna like click a link or like type in a link, or are you just going to go on Amazon and look for the book that you want?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So
I mean, I think it's worth setting up on my end too, right? devchat.tv/career guide or javascriptjabber.com/career guide. And, and doing it that way.
yeah, I guess I can look at too. Maybe I can look at the date range and see if there's a like if I look at the last 90 days and look at sales. Yeah, I don't really see a spike in sales. Maybe a slight lift. It's hard to know, but yeah. I'm surprised though. I would expect that like that some people that it would drive some sales, more sales, but
Yep.
you never know though. It's weird. Books. It's hard to drive sales with books, I think, for some reason. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude,
I've tried, even like when I send out email blasts, like trying to promote a book. It's like, I guess it's because some people read and some people don't read, and people who don't read, they're not buying books.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so I've had some pretty good success with Chuck's podcast, to be honest. Every single time we've done it, and we've done like, especially as we've gone into more of the later phases,
Right.
most recent ones, now I feel like I have tuned into what is the right way to pitch these things on podcast. And last time we sold $1,000 worth of just this digital course that people had to go click on the link and do all that stuff.
Yeah, but we did a whole discussion and then a pitch at the end.
Yeah.
And what we did for John is we just ran the ad.
Yeah, I would
And
say
so
the
I think
discussion
running
is
the
where it's
ad,
at.
I think running the ad. So for example, if we had run 4 or 5 ads and then released an episode where I talked to John about, planning and capitalizing on your career, right?
Right.
And we did a pitch for the book at the end and then had another couple of ads after it. I think that would have worked better, because then what it would have done is people would have heard the ads a handful of times, and then when they heard the episode, they would have said, oh, this is what, I've heard about this, right? They'd have some familiarity, and then afterward it'd be a reminder, oh yeah, I was going to go get that. Oh yeah, I was going to go get that. And, just kind of get that to stick in their head.
Yeah.
Or the other side of this equation, which is kind of what John Lee Dumas is doing, is to say, okay, every podcast is a sponsorship.
Yeah.
Right. So you can either take it as a sponsorship or as an affiliate relationship, as in, okay, Manny, do you want to just split the revenue on the sales? And
Yep.
well, that's good. Or do you want to pay to play on the podcast?
Yep.
Right. That's another way to look at it, because I think if John were to sell one of his courses, I'm not sure which one he would want to sell, or even, I don't think you will want to have him on for Bulldog Mindset, right? With John talking about.
I don't know if Bulldog Mindset is a strong fit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It
The
could
book
be.
is a little.
Yeah, it could hit some people, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because within the developer community, there's plenty of guys that
But the how to market yourself might be actually a
that'd
decent
be
one.
better. Yeah.
You could probably do like 3 different episodes over 3 months or 4 months or 6 months, and every
Yeah.
time he pitches, he talks about specific story or specific things that help, and I think it will still work. Like, as I said, I was surprised that we generated $1,000 from that one episode without really doing any other email marketing or any other efforts. $900 or $1,000, right? So I do believe this form of advertising actually works, or this form of this form of marketing works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to figure out the perfect, fine tune the angle to get it to work.
Yeah, that's fair. And to be honest, I mean, if I can get some case studies from, it's like, hey, look, we had Manny on and we sold, $2,000 worth of courses, right?
Yeah.
We had John on and sold, he saw a bump of this kind on Amazon, right? Then I can go to authors and I can be like, look, if you want your book to move up on Amazon, you can pay $500. We'll jump on an interview, right?
Yeah.
And we'll move the needle for you. Or
I think that is, that sponsorship play is actually probably better, either sponsorship or affiliate play.
Yeah, if they have an affiliate deal, we'll just do that, right?
Yeah. Or a sponsorship deal. You could play with that and see which one works, because then you have kind of almost, if it's a sponsorship thing like that, where someone wants to talk about their product or their course, like I bet there's probably 100 different Python course creators online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or JavaScript course creators online.
Right.
If you research them online and you found the top 10 or 20 and you reached out to them, say, hey, do you want to come talk about how to code better? Like, we'll take this one component and then we'll do an affiliate deal on it and we'll split it. Or we can just do some sponsorship.
Yep.
You can try it once, and if you think it works, then we'll do some ongoing sponsorship for other parts of your courses or stuff.
Right.
So check this out. This guy contacted me this week. I had a call with him, and he has a business. What he does is he basically finds influencers and the people with products. And then let's say that, okay, so like what he was pitching to me, he was like, okay, we'll find the top 100, right, list. He's basically using like the traffic, the traffic secrets. Right?
Yeah, Dream 100. Yep.
Yeah. So he finds the top 100, and then he goes and he has his VAs reach out, and he gets a bunch of them booked on your podcast or YouTube channel. Like, so you interview them, and then he gets you booked on a bunch to be interviewed. And then the way that
how much is he charging for it? Okay.
So he charges like a base fee of like $2,800 to cover his costs, but then he really makes his money from the 10% of all product sales. And so what he's doing is he's basically setting you up to pitch your affiliate promotions to big influencers, people who have big audiences. And so you pitch on theirs, and then when they come on your podcast or whatever, then you can like promote the interview and then pitch or have them promote to their audience the interview. And then you have like a landing page where you have your product on there. Or once you like interview them, then you get on a call with them, or like you're establishing a connection with them, and then you sell them like your high ticket coaching, right? So that model could potentially work for you, Chuck, because you could basically get, let's say that you had like Python course developer, right? So you could get him on your podcast, have him pitch his course, do an affiliate deal with him, and then afterwards you could talk to the guy and be like, hey, I offer coaching like for helping you to grow your social media and to like, if you want to build your own podcast or right. And then you could potentially do coaching for him for a couple $1,000s a month.
Yep. I like it.
Yeah. Podcast coaching, I think this line of thought with the sponsorship opportunities is has some legs for you, especially given all the different topics you have. If you just reach out to course creators, nobody else but course creators.
Yep.
Right? Because course creators are the biggest hustlers. They are tuned into digital marketing like no one else. Right? They know that they need to sell, and they know that they need to figure out ways to sell, and they're always willing to try some new, who doesn't want to give an hour of time for who doesn't want to first of all get interviewed on a podcast? Everyone says yes, more or less. Right? That's a straight up simple shoe-in. But beyond that, when you are giving the opportunity to even plug the course, it's like 10x better.
Yep.
Right? So you can bring in all sorts of people to talk about different, and you should still keep it like 95% education and 5% pitch.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah. Don't let them pitch. Like, you can tell them if you pitch too much, we will not air the show and we will return your money.
Well, the thing is even some of the authors on like egghead.io or Udemy or something like that, we could talk about whatever their content is about, and then also talk about, look, what strategies do you expect your students to employ in order to learn, right? And essentially, create this discussion around the basics of whatever they're talking about. And then also, if you want to go learn this, why learn it this way? Why do it this way? And just give people learning strategies, and then wrap it up. You got a ton of quality content there. But yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. I think we can record a whole bunch of them, put them in your database and your pipeline, and you can just publish them whenever you feel like it.
Yep.
And that's like just basically $10,000 in the bank.
Well,
you did all the different courses and the different angles.
But the other thing is if I do it with you, if I get like 20 or 30 of them, then I can put yours on JavaScript Jabber, and I can put one of the other ones on Ruby Rogues, and I can just cycle through them on all of the different shows without having to release them all at the same time on all the same shows.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah, so
And so
it's always there in some.
yeah, it's always
stable form.
circulating.
Yeah. It won't just be on JavaScript Java, but it'll be on Ruby, but on another date and time and all those
Right.
things.
Yeah. So next
thing
month
is-
it'd show up on
yeah.
Ruby Rogues, and then the month after that it'd show up on Adventures in Angular.
But then next month on JavaScript Java, something else shows up, which is
Right.
like this month, maybe we talk about mental toughness, but next month productivity.
Right.
It shows up on JavaScript Java, but doesn't show up on Ruby on Rails 3 months later.
Yeah.
So it's a web of
Yeah.
those
Well,
things
and if
constantly.
people are listening to multiple shows, then they may listen to it on JavaScript Jabber. And then when it pops up in the feed on React Roundup, then it's like, oh yeah, I was going to check that out, right? Maybe they don't listen to the episode again, but they go and they take advantage of the deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do listen again and it gets reinforced.
Yeah, I think there's for sure an angle there to make $500 to $1,000 every episode
Yeah.
just from that. If you get the right
Oh yeah.
pitch and the right participants, and if you can if you just start to dissect the shows and figure out what works and what doesn't work. I mean, 500 we made after 2 or 3 trials, we made $1,000 gross, so $500 each from that one little episode.
Yeah.
So over time, as you keep doing it and you keep doing it better and find the better fit, it's value add to your audience. And
that's the whole thing, right? It has to be value add to the audience. And
like anyone who listens to the audience should never feel like, oh my God, I spent time hearing a pitch. No.
Yeah.
They should just learn. And any pitch that comes along will just be like, there's another guy who I did the same with. So I won't name names. He has a popular podcast in Personal Development. And I was like, I told him, hey, let's do this. It will work. He's like, all right, yeah, we'll keep it to 20 minutes. My audience just wants to know, what are the basics.
Right.
And you could just, tell us about the product. And I think that should do the trick. And I was like, no, man, we really need to educate them. We really need to talk about this thing. If we just go straight into the product, it's not going to work. It's not going to do as well. And I kept on saying, he's like, no, we'll just keep it to 15, 20 minutes. I think my audience just likes straightforward messages. Fucking 2 sales.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're trust me, we know, I've done a lot of podcasts over the years and YouTube videos and all those things. I'm especially when I'm trying to sell. I'm not just, selling sponsorships. I'm actually, this is not a sponsorship post. This is a full-blown webinar, if you want to call it that.
Yep.
Right. Where we're talking about a lot of different things and being able to sell in the process. So
yep.
Once you perfect that system, once you figure out that system that works for different kinds of offers,
yep.
Yeah, $500 an episode. That's not bad.
Yeah. The other thing though that I'm also seeing is some of the folks that I've reached out to, they weren't super keen on sponsoring, but they wanted to get some kind of promotion. And so I asked them if they had some kind of affiliate account, right? And some of them didn't, like JetBrains doesn't, for example, right? And they sell all these IDEs. And so I could go back to them and also just say, look, you pay me $500 and we'll do the same kind of, right? So I just make the $500 straight up.
Yeah.
Right. And then we just do the episode and stick it in the feed. But then we talk about using the IDEs and how to, do the automatic refactorings and all the other stuff that's there.
Yeah. You tell them, I think the new pitch in some ways for you could be more like educate my audience and they'll come and buy from you.
Right.
And for your opportunity to come and educate my audience, you just have to pay $500 to come on my podcast.
Yep.
And educate the audience about your product. Don't pitch it hard. Just educate them, and you will get the best results from it. If you pitch it hard, you will lose them. Yeah. So let me interview you. Let me get the best out of it, and then as we're talking, maybe 1 or 2 pitches, one in the middle, one in the end, or 2 or 3 pitches, whatever it is. And season the pitch and all those things, and like that. Yeah, I think for $500. Or an affiliate deal, people should be able to take advantage of.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
No surprise that John Lee Dumas kind of gave away his quote-unquote sponsorship deals to go into this side of sponsorship business.
Is he back
Yeah,
in-
but I'm sorry, his episodes is funny because I used to listen to him a lot. And then for whatever reason, I quit listening. I don't remember why, but I went and I resubscribed. And
Because it's
it feels like a sales pitch every time now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you have to draw the line. You cannot let it be the sales pitch, because then you will.
Yeah.
But then the damn guy's
Yeah.
still selling out.
Well,
Well, and some of the stuff that they actually do give some value there, but I just felt like I was being sold every freaking time I listened to an episode.
well,
And some
yeah.
of it was, it was like, oh, well, this is why my product's so great, so great, so great, so great, so buy it. And there were enough of those where I was just like, ugh.
Well, John's strategy right now is just to burn the fucker into the ground. That's what he's doing. I mean,
Well, okay,
he's
hang on. That's not
basically
the
like,
strategy that he has, he has envisioned. But you're right. That's what's
Yeah.
going to happen.
well, that's what I think that's what I think he's like, all right, I'm done, like hustling my ass off every day. Like, he's like, the ship is built so big at this point, like it's gonna burn nice and slow. Let's get some fire going here. And so all he has to do is just set the fucker on fire, and then just he's gonna be warm for the rest of his life, right? Like, because at this point he doesn't need to build it up. If he just keeps on doing this, obviously, it's gonna go down eventually, but he's gonna make a ton of money, because I don't really see him like trying to expand or build at this point. I think he's just taking what he's got. He's like, okay, I'm going to milk this for everything I can. And again, I'm not saying anything negative against him. I mean, I would be doing the same thing in his circumstance, I think. And
Would
he's
you?
just like, yeah, because he's just like, because he sees it as an asset that he can milk, and he might as well make the money off it that he can, and then he can just go and do his thing, and he doesn't have to worry about, like, because he did the grind for how many years where he did daily episodes and all that, and
Yeah.
and now he doesn't really have to do much, just keep the thing going and get and collect the money that from the thing that he's built. So
Yep.
I could be wrong, but that's how I see it. But
I don't think that's his strategy, but that's the outcome. That's the only thing I kind of
Yeah.
disagree on. But yeah, that
Yeah,
is the
and then-
ultimate outcome, because people will over time tune out of it.
Yep. But yeah, the other thing I've got going on is I'm working on pulling together another summit. But I'm doing it the Russell Brunson style that he talks about, just to see if I like it better. And also it's also set up in a way that I don't have to essentially take 3 days off of work to put it on. But I'm doing it around the most valuable developer idea that I keep working with and massaging. And so what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to interview a bunch of people pre-recorded. And then the interviews go up for a day, and then they come down for a day, for each day of the summit, however long it winds up being. And then people get all access pass, and they'll be able to then watch the videos for however long they want. But I'm also going to ask like 2 bonus questions to each interviewee for the all access pass. And then on the backside, I'm going to try and sell basically a 3 to 6 month mastermind where we go through each of the interviews and pull the strategies out and give everybody homework every couple weeks. So it's like, hey, look, John Sonmez talked about, these 3 things. So your homework over the next 2 weeks is to work on these 3 things, right? And then Bob Martin talked about, so 2 weeks later, Bob Martin talked about doing these couple of things in your career. And so, I'm hoping that I can pull something like that together. The question is going to be essentially, if you were a mid-level developer today, what would you be doing to move your career along over the next 30, 60, and 90 days? And so, hopefully we can get some quality content in there. It's going to be free for people to watch the day of.
Live.
live basically. So it'll go up for 24 hours and then it'll come
That's
back
the
down.
standard virtual summit model, right?
Yep. So I'm going to see how that works. I'm also thinking about selling on the back end, essentially a live event 3 months later, but I'm still kind of figuring out how I want to do that. But that's where I'm looking at pulling stuff together that way. And if I can get enough of a mastermind thing going, then hopefully I can not have to work this job anymore. Sorry, I feel like I took over the conversation. Is there anything else new with you, John or Manny?
I am in the process of hiring a copywriter.
How's that going?
Painful as always. Hiring is always a challenge.
Yeah.
But I
Yep.
joined Copy Chief. Right?
Oh, the business owner one, so
Yeah.
that you can. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I can post. So there was an interesting thing I noticed there, and there's something. This is like a business lesson in some ways, right? There was this author I interviewed 5 years ago, and he had a book on leadership. This was when I was brand new to this whole space, right? He had a book on leadership. He was an executive coach,
Mhm.
and he was, he had a pretty popular book. So I interviewed him and all that stuff. I even met up with him because he's in San Diego. And then 5 years later, I see his post in Copy Chief, and he's saying, "Hey, I'm looking for someone to kind of mentor me and show me." So he is also like the business owner kind of in that community, right? It's like, I'm looking for a lead copywriter to mentor me in my copywriting because I'm part of the Copy Chief as well. And I see that my copy is not good. And I feel like I need a seasoned copywriter to show me the way to write more strategic copy and this and that. And as I was reading it, it made me realize that it's such a mindset game, business, in the sense he is still stuck in the mindset as I am the one who has to create everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
Even though he's in the Copy Chief business forum, he's basically saying, teach me how to write copy and teach me how to do this and teach me how to do that. And 5 years ago, I thought he was a successful guy with, being the executive coach and the author and all these things and course and all those things. But I feel like sometimes the mindset of I have to do everything can take us to the ground or can keep us basically stuck forever.
Yep. Yeah,
But,
that's something that I've been thinking about too, is just how can I hire some of this work instead of, how can I learn to do yet another thing in my business?
Yeah, at some point at some point you have to be able to figure out what is your value, what is your primary value, and let go of other things. I don't know how much time, but just that post kind of made me think about all of these things all over again. And
Yeah.
think about like why people do, why do we think like that about these things? What was it?
Yeah.
Clockwork. You guys have read
Clockwork talks about it.
Clockwork, like Mikhailovich was talking about the idea that it's not about how the key to a business is not what you're doing in order to make money, but what you're getting the business to do in order to make money, right?
Right.
So
The challenge is like if it's a brand business, like personal brand or not, like or just like the personality element, right?
even if it's a personal brand, at some point, if you're becoming a mature author, an executive coach, and a leader, you can hire other people to do the work for you.
No, it's not that you can't, right? Like, for example, I mean, I've got, my copywriter and he's writing all of the emails and whatnot, but as good as he is at writing emails and writing in my voice and writing good copy, like the posts that I post on Instagram where I'm writing the captions, those get way more engagement. They get more, you know what I mean? So it's like you
Uh-huh.
have to give up a certain element of it in order to grow. But I
Or
think that's what
you get somebody enough information or knowledge to be able to do what you do, which
I think,
sometimes is expertise that it's hard to pass on, and sometimes it's technique or tagging or something that works.
I think nobody can be as good as us in being us, right?
right. Yeah, that's
And that's basically the constraint of you trying to replicate you. It's never going to be the case.
Yep.
So then the question is, do you really want to build a business where either people appreciate what you do because it's 100% you, or because you build a business where people are okay with or you are okay with letting go of that control so that you can build a bigger business?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends if you're the artist or not, right? That's the question, like, and then whether you're giving up being the artist, so
You can be
that
the artist, but at the same time, do you also have to be the copywriter and
That's what I was
the
about to say.
ghostwriter and the editor and the book editor and the Amazon guru who knows how to sell on Amazon and all those things, right? You can be the artist. You
it
can
depends,
be
yeah, what your
Wayne
art
Dyer,
is.
right?
Well, yeah, it depends on what your art is, right? That's what you have to kind of decide what
Yeah.
it's.
Is your
Yeah.
art copywriting or is your art executive
Yeah.
leadership?
Is your art Instagram posts or is your art your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like I said, like if I were to write emails, right, I probably could sell better than Tim, even though he's a better writer than me.
Yeah,
Right.
you
Just
probably will.
because, right?
But is
So,
that opportunity cost worth it? Is the question.
right, and it's not. That's why I'm hiring him, right? And it has to do with the art element of it, right? Someone can't really duplicate that piece of it. Same thing with Instagram. So I'm spending some time doing that, but YouTube videos is like the main thing. And but again, I just hired a guy that's doing animations for me, and he's taking the videos and then he's making animations out of those. So he's creating his own art, right? So
Yeah,
so
and
he's
that's
becoming
the
the
other
artist
thing.
in that case.
Like, just because someone can't be you
Mm.
doesn't mean that they can't do it better than you.
Yeah.
Or 80% as good as you at 10% the cost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the big thing, like, I think the big thing that sometimes is lost in this conversation is the idea that actually there are people who can do it better than you. You just don't. You think being you is the best version in the world, but people can do it. People will not be you, but they can still do it better than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on what your goal is, what you're trying to
Yeah.
accomplish, right? So that's why
Yeah.
I said it's like it's like where are you the artist and where are you not the artist? That's the question. And how much art, like, do you need to be the artist at all? In a lot of
Are you a
businesses.
good artist or are you a good orchestrator? Right.
Mhm.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one other thing to keep in mind is that, and I can't remember what this economic principle is, but the idea is that if the US could make cars cheaper than anybody else,
Mhm.
20% cheaper than anybody else, and they can also make office chairs 10% cheaper than anybody else, but Canada can make chairs 5% more expensive than the US, and cars way more expensive than the US, then the US should focus on building cars and leave the chair building to Canada, right?
Mhm,
Because they're gonna make way more margin on the cars than they are on, right? And so even though you can still do it better than anybody else, you may actually wind up freeing up some version of time so that you can do the thing that really matters for you to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, or doesn't mean that you can even touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Someone's been
And
reading
that
some
it's not
Thomas
the most,
Sowell.
may not be the most efficient
So-
way to do it.
I said someone's been reading some Thomas Sowell.
I love that guy.
Well, this is ultimately the wealth of nations, right? Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations, what he said in many ways was that specialization of work.
Yeah.
And it'll continue to happen. And the
Yeah.
country or the business or whatever, whoever can specialize more will win.
Yeah.
So
But
in
Thomas
some
Sowell
ways,
does break down a lot of that stuff.
I have no idea who this guy is, but
He's an economist.
He's
He has a book
economist.
called Basic Economics that
Yeah.
breaks a lot of this down and is terrific. But yeah,
never heard of him. But Adam Smith, I guess that's
Wealth
I
of
guess
Nations.
it's-
Yeah.
Wealth of Nations. It ultimately boils down to the super specialization all the time, the specialization of labor.
Yeah.
2,000 years ago, you were the one cooking, you were the one hunting, you were doing everything. Now you bring the same mindset into your business today,
Right.
you're doomed.
Yeah. No, you got to find out the thing that you do is what's the most valuable.
What's the
but-
most valuable? What you enjoy the most.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a combination of both. Like, what's the most valuable and what do you enjoy the most? Like, I have a project manager now, and 6 months ago I didn't have a project manager, and our projects were very unsteady, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I was not on top of those projects all the time, and there was a stress related to the fact that there was just too much project management that was involved, which I didn't really enjoy doing, but I had to do just to keep the business going. Right.
Yep.
But now the project manager does all the like the operations, not just project management, it's like operations basically. She's taken over all of the operation side of things. I've given her the target by October 31st. I want you to take over all the operations so I can be free to just focus on books and book summaries, just the way reading books and summarizing books the way I want to do them. Not only that, I also gave the target to my writing team to say, okay,
Mhm.
my target at the end of December, by December 31st, we went to get to the point where I only spend 2 hours per book in the summary process. I don't want to spend more time than that. So right now it's taking me 4 or 5 hours with you guys to summarize the book. I want to go down to 2 hours per book.
Right.
That means that they're gonna hustle and grind and do everything to make that happen, or we as a team are doing it. So I'm doing so many meetings right now with them to train them to do these things, so that at the end of 4 months or end of 3 months from now, I can separate myself from that grind and think much more strategically about growing the business. But if I said, okay, I want to train myself to be a better copywriter, or I want to train myself to be a better script writer, or I want to train myself to be a better, operations guy or better project manager. If I wanted to be a better project manager and a better copywriter and a better script writer and really good at WordPress design, the business would just be no business. I mean, it would be a business that would just stagnate and would never
Yeah.
grow anywhere, right? One of the
Yep.
big, like, if you look at any business that's stagnating, it's because there isn't really any investment in human capital that is affordable at that stage of the business, or the owner is willing to make. In case of, like, we talk about John Lee Dumas, he has a great business, but the ultimate challenge in that business is that he is the value creator.
Yes.
And as one value creator, you max out at $1 to $2 million a year. Beyond that, you need other intelligent value creators to create value in a business,
Yep.
right? So unless he chooses to hire people to become value creators in the business, it's going to be hard to, like, say, okay, well, I'm going to take my personality business to 10, 20 million. On the other hand, I think Pat Flynn is doing a much better job that way, because he has a team now, I think over 10, 15 people who do a lot of the things in the back end we don't know about. But he's still the face. He's still kind of the artist, right? He's still the podcast guy. He's still the YouTube guy. But his business is way bigger than John Lee Dumas is now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at some point, investment into people is the only strategy to grow. When all of marketing strategies are done and everything is done, you really need people to help you grow.
Yep.
And the higher quality people you can hire, the more you can grow. So,
Yep.
and that will always be limited by how much money the business is making and the owner's mindset about it.
It's true.
You need value creation, and you cannot be the sole value creator. I think that's the key.
Yeah, no, it's true.
That book, man. Oh, by the way, I joined the James Schramko super fast business thing, his
Oh, you did? Okay.
program.
What do you think so far?
It's interesting. We have our first coaching call next week. It's a weekly
Okay.
coaching call, weekly group coaching call. And there's a forum as well. It's like $600 a month. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to bring.
Oh, I gotta put together a talk today, which I don't know what I'm talking about.
Where are you talking?
At 21 convention in Orlando. So
This afternoon.
When's that?
what's that?
When is that?
Speaking today?
When is the conference?
Yeah.
I'm leaving tomorrow to go. It's like October 3rd through 5th, I think.
You're going to go to Tampa for a while?
Yeah, going to Tampa first and then I'll drive to Orlando from there. So
Dude,
Well-
I'm surprised that they're able to do a conference.
I was gonna ask.
yeah, they've pretty much lifted. I think just today, Florida governor announced that he's lifting all the restrictions on everything. So in Florida, they already had the conference. Like they've already been doing lots of conferences in Florida. So yeah. But I don't think it'll be huge. Like there's not gonna be like a ridiculous number of people, but we'll see. Because there won't be international people there, I don't think. I think it'll be mostly US. Yeah, I gotta put
Cool.
together a talk.
Florida is like that hooker who's just given up on all her dreams in life. Like, just take whatever you want. Ravage me.
What? I don't follow that at all.
You know what I'm talking about.
Actually, I don't, but I've got to jump off soon.
Yeah.
All right, here we are. Thoughts? I'm tired.
There's a lot of that going around these days. Yeah, I mean, my thought is mostly around the idea that, and I'm still working out some of the time management stuff and things like that, but just knowing what you want, knowing where you want to end up, and then just figuring out a way to get there. And not just locking yourself into sort of the mental ruts that got you where you are if you're not where you want to be.
I guess let's see. I would say you knock down 7 times or 6 times, get up 7.
Yep.
Right. So I got, the race, I spent a year training for this damn thing, countless hours, thousands upon thousands of dollars. And, at the end of the day, when it came down to it, it didn't go the way I planned. And I was ready to just be done. And then, I realized I could just get up and start going again. And so that's what I'm doing is just keep going, and yeah, I mean, that's what it takes. Like, it's like, I think it's easy to like have a failure and then be like, okay, well, that's it. But that doesn't have to be it. it's only when you give up, when you decide that it's it. So I'm gonna give it another shot, learn what I learned, take what I learned from this failure, and push forward and give it another go. And again, there's no guarantee I'll succeed this time, but I'll do better. I'll
Yep.
have learned more, so I'll be in better shape. So yeah.
Good deal.
Nice. And my thought is that I need to leverage, or I need to think of business as, no, I'll change it. I'll change my thoughts to give a different thought because it's important. It's when Elon Musk set out to go to Mars or colonize Mars, one of the things he realized quickly was that they needed to build reusable rockets to be able to do this realistically and cheaply enough that it would be commercially viable at any time.
Right.
Because the rocket has to get to Mars and maybe at some point bring people back to Earth and all those things. So reusability was a big factor, right? But all other space agencies in the world had never even dreamt of that as a possibility, or even if they tried it, they've thought like, there's no way this thing burns down, this is game over. They never even considered that a reality. But today, Elon has made the reusable rocket more or less a thing. It's a real thing. They land and then they reuse big parts of those rockets again. And what I'm trying to say is that in business, you have to start from the end vision and then work today, rather than try to see where you are today and then this is all I can do. Because if we just look at where we are today, we can get very limited in our vision.
Yeah.
We can get very limited in what we do or how much we do or how much risk we take or whatever it is. But if we start with the end vision, we have to live from the vision 10 years from today rather than live in the reality today and try to work towards that. Instead of working towards that vision, you almost have to start from that vision and work backwards.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's my thought.
All right. Well, see you guys next week. Hopefully I'll be traveling again. So we'll see if I think I'm not sure what the day will be, but
All right, guys.
all right, take it easy.
Yep.
Later.